Charlie Kirk. If you look at the Uniform Code of Military Justice, if you're celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, you're a bad person. You're going to hell. Charlie Kirk.
All right, so we got a sailor here, 1.5 million followers on TikTok. He knows the UCMJ. He brings it up, except he misses the part about Article 134, bringing discredit to the uniform and just acting generally not like you want. Let's take a gander.
The off-ramp to the high road is closed. We are not going to be made to feel bad about y'all, the hero, that consistently spewed harmful rhetoric, that consistently put people's lives in danger with the platform that he was given by all of you racist goofies.
How in the world does this active duty sailor, who was the sailor of the quarter, posted on his TikTok not long ago, think he can get away with this? In any job, take aside the military. I know free speech, right? Well, the military doesn't have it. You got a litany of things that he can get court-martialed for, of which, from what I'm seeing here, he should. And it's not like he doesn't know better. Later in the video, we'll get into where he says the UCMJ, we'll go talk about the National Guard. We'll get to that.
This has nothing to do with conservative versus liberal. This has nothing to do with Democrat versus Republican. This has nothing to do with the left versus the right, because that's what y'all gonna prop it up as.
I think it is, right? He says that Charlie Kirk has a message that he thinks is hateful and harmful and racist and all of it, right? He says that. And he says Charlie Kirk's on the right, so it is about the left and the right. Does this guy not see it? I'm trying to help him. I'm going to reach out and say, hey, young man, you're missing the point. Whether you're in the Navy or you go work for Walmart, this kind of behavior is not okay. It'll get you fired. In the military, to get you a dishonorable discharge.
And the alleged suspect is an old white guy. But bet the mainstream media won't be talking about white-on-white violence. They won't be talking about gun control. They gonna say...
That's all the mainstream media is talking about. What world? I'm trying to be analysis, right? Only way I can talk about this, keep my temper down. Trying to just be the old guy in the room here. I want to help, but that's all the media will talk about. You've seen it. And he just doesn't seem to understand his employer. He doesn't understand what his actions, his words. You could have free speech somewhere. That doesn't mean they have the freedom to fire you. In the UCMJ's case, Article 134, court-martial you. There's another directive. I'll put all the stuff up here, but you know better, right? You know it's when it's wrong.
It was an isolated incident by a lone shooter. And they're going to hold off the identity for as long as they can, and it's going to end up being a white guy.
Well, this aged poorly. They didn't hold off the identity. Young white fella, right? We saw what happened there.
But we're not talking about these dangerous white men that just decide to get a gun and just start. We're not going to be gaslit.
All I hear from the media, I heard on MSNBC that most of the violence is coming from the right and by white men. That's all I heard. Right? Isn't somebody consuming the news, paying attention to it. So what he's saying is objectively, it's not true, right? And he is in the uniform. Right now, obviously, he's shirtless. But his whole thing says Navy, my opinions aren't the DOD. I mean, his whole feed, 1.5 million followers, he's a public figure here. He should know better, is about the military.
I feel bad about a terrible person. However, guy, I don't condone what happened to him, but guess what? God's timing is always right. Good day, goofies. PSA, PSA, PSA. This is to my active duty service members and to my active duty service members.
This part really cinches the deal. He knows the UCMJ when he wants to use it. He wants to educate other sailors. So he's educating young sailors right here. But when he wants to be an activist and not a sailor, he just does whatever he wants. Why do you think that is? Let me know in the comments. Be polite, of course, but why do you think he's got the nerve, the gall, to think this is a good idea? Who told him this? Who told him he's not in the U.S. military and the UCMJ applies?
Only, especially those pushing this sentiment. I was just following orders will never be an acceptable defense in a court of law, more specifically, a court-martial. There are individuals that are peddling this sentiment that these Marines, these National Guardsmen, that are active duty service members have to follow unlawful orders.
Here's another one. I mean, his entire feed is a court martial. 1.5 million people. Again, he was Sailor of the Quarter not long ago. And he's an activist. It's unbecoming of the uniform, discredits the military. It's embarrassing. You veterans active duty, do you feel embarrassed by this man? Again, I understand you want free speech, but do it when you're out of the military. Or don't say, hey, I'm in the U.S. military, I'm in the U.S. Navy, and do it. And then if you get caught, realize, guess what? There's a punishment. Yes, you can speak, and yes, there's consequences to that speech, in particular in the U.S. military.
No, we do not. If you look at the Uniform Code of Military Justice, Articles 77 through 134 are all of the punitive articles. More specifically, this one would...
He should pay close attention to Article 134. And by no means am I an expert. I had to look this up and go, what articles apply here? Not to mention, the SecDef came out and said, hey, I don't want military members discussing the Charlie Kirk issue and being negative about it because it is unbecoming of the uniform, especially when you take his approach.
Kind of similarly go to 92, and 90, right? Go look at the Uniform Code of Military Justice. When you raise your right hand, you give that oath of enlistment. I state your name. Do solemnly...
Remember what he's talking about here. He's talking about National Guard or Marines getting sent to walk around streets when there was a riot, a protest, however you want to define that. Now we got National Guard in cities like in D.C. He's defining that as an unlawful order. I mean, do you see that as an unlawful order? Are they doing anything kinetic? Did they do anything kinetic in L.A.? No. I think it slowed the riots down. They were protecting a federal building. You may not like the politics, but do you think that's an unreasonable use of the National Guard in that case?
Swear and or to affirm to serve and protect the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, not some enemies, all enemies, foreign and domestic, to bear true faith and allegiance to the same, to obey the orders.
So now he's defined the current president as an enemy because he's saying you don't have to follow the order. I mean, that's follow this along. Again, if this video was played when you were in, or to your boss, I don't care, you're in the law enforcement, would this fly? In particular, in the context of what happened here with the National Guard, and then he goes out with the Charlie Kirk thing, how does he get a pass here? That's my question. How does he not know he may feel this way, but you just don't open your mouth because it's a poor idea? You don't open your mouth and record it, right? It's not going to end well for you.
The president and the officers appointed over me according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, so help me God. You do not have to follow unlawful orders.
All right, so he's an E5 in the Navy. He's been in a while. Right? Maybe an enlistment, maybe two. He clearly knows the UCMJ. So his defense is what? Oh, I didn't know I can't rant about Charlie Kirk and say heinous things that discredits the Armed Services of America, discredits the DOD, embarrasses the U.S. Navy. So he knows that. He's over here preaching about all of the UCMJ. Now it applies to the National Guard. So how does he get a pass? Does he get a pass here? I think the U.S. Navy should be on this. How do you feel about active duty influencers doing this? If it's a funny skit, but what is funny? Is it help them long term? No, it does not help them long term. Most of them are embarrassing. They wouldn't want to have this 10 years from now show it. See a lot of people saying, well, it's the free speech. There's no free speech in the military, and there's no free speech when you go out and work for an employer. You can say it, and they can fire you. Just like we've seen now, all this Charlie Kirk stuff, teachers, we got Secret Service, we've got military. We got all sorts of people coming out and saying these heinous things, just disgusting, no matter how you feel about politics, and they're getting fired, as they should be. I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. Have some dignity, man.